All right. First of all, you can make a game without using metatables. I'll just put that out there. But yeah, so we're kind of moving on from beginner stuff, intermediate. I'm going to use this I don't know, these little visuals to help us. So let's say we had an item with some properties. So I would do local item, then we have that table, and then the item dot properties is also going to be a table. Now, what kind of properties do I want the item to have? Well, I want the cost, maybe it has a level, and the use, so we're going to put those inside of our item. And we'll just, type it in here. Again, this is all arbitrary. And then let's say the use is a function, get a and print used item. All right, well, that's fine and dandy. Now let's go over here and let's strap on a meta table to it. And we'll define that as item.metatable. And now let's use the meta method. We're going to be using the index meta method. I'll have to make a separate video for, all the other meta methods, but right, index. And then we'll do 2 underscores in the index. And we'll make that equal to the item.properties. So now we actually have to make a function to create a new item with these properties. So I'll do function item and colon new. And our local new item is going to be an empty table. And then we're going to set the meta table, new item, and we are going to use the items meta table. And then we'll just return a new item. Then we'll actually make our new item. So new item equals item new. And then we will print the new item dot cost because it's going to have those same properties. Then if I run it, you can see the cost 100 shows up. Meta means transcending or comprehensive. From what I looked up, I like to call it shared. It's sort of a shared table between items. So like, this is our new item that we created, and whenever we set the meta table, we just take that meta table and set it to it. Now these two things are sharing the same meta table. And so what a meta method does is it'll get called whenever I index something. So the index meta method will get called every time I try to index something on that table. It's going to look for that shared table, and it says that the index is the item.properties. So it's going to look here. Kind of what it's doing is it's copying everything inside of properties, but it's not really doing that. Technically this isn't there, it's just looking over here for it. But we can assume that it has the properties and the cost level in use. And let's say before we made the new item, we initially had a different cost. Well, whenever we make the new item, we're going to keep our level and our use, but it's just going to change cost. So it's going to add everything else, and we'll get the 500 cost, but we'll still be able to use everything else inside of properties. This is very comparable to instance.new, the Roblox API. You can just do instance.new, set the parent, and then it already has, predefined stuff for that instance. Like if I inserted a part, it's going to have a default size and position. So here's a similar real use example in my RPG that I'm making. Inside of this prototype, we have, all of the saved, data inside of the table. And whenever a player enters, it's going to check their key from the data store. If they don't have one, it's going to make some new save data. So, their save data will be all of this junk inside a prototype. But if they already have save data, we're going to update it using the player's key already, which, we're putting in predefined values. And let's say if I added something to my game, like I added a new save value, like I don't know, just we wanted something else to save. It would keep all of the old data, that the player already has saved, and then it'll just tack on the new save data that we need. And this really eliminates having to check for certain, data that's saved or not saved. Hopefully, explaining some of my real use examples, helps helps you guys understand it a bit more if you're struggling to understand metatables. I mean, this is real Lua. Like, this is what Lua is, and it's pretty powerful. But I don't use it too often. I try not to overuse metatables and metamethods because there are simpler ways to do stuff without it. But yeah, next videos, I'll show you some more metamethods, and then we'll get into some Roblox API and some game design.